Hello, welcome to Navigator Orientation. We're here to welcome you to the California Bridge. We're very excited to have you. This is an action-packed training, and so welcome, and we'll go step by step with everything you need to get started as a navigator. We share all of our materials through Creative Commons. So just wanted you to, as long as you don't, you can use whatever we have, as long as you don't alter it, and that's through our copyright laws. Thank you. And what is California Bridge? Well, we like to start from the beginning. Our goal is very simple: 24/7 access to high quality treatment of substance use disorders in all California hospitals by 2025. We started this venture in March of 2019 with 50 hospitals. Up to date, as of today, we're at 172 hospitals implementing California Bridge in 2022. Another goal is for us to reach all hospitals in California, and that's over 300. So we're really excited, and we're more than halfway on this journey, and you're here to help make that a reality. What is the California Bridge model? Well, this is the most simple model, and this is why I am here, and probably all of you. The process is very simple. We're revolutionizing the system of care with low barrier treatment that is, I need to add, evidence-based. We also have a connection to care and community, and that is where your role comes in, is pivotal to this process. And the last pillar or focus is culture of harm reduction. You're going to hear that word a lot, and it means a lot of things. So again, we're here to revolutionize the system of care with low barrier treatment in the ED, connection to care with a substance use navigator, and promote a culture of harm reduction. Next slide. So what does the substance use navigator do? Well, I like this very simple slide because it tells you your role. We will start with the process. You need a process for your emergency room. This is an example of a process. So there's the little sun, and they meet with the patients identified with SUD, substance use disorder, and they consult with a provider for MAT. So sometimes what this may look like is your triage nurse calls you or puts a consult in the computer, and you get something on your screen, or you get that call. Hey, we have a patient here that states they want some help with substance use disorder, or they're opioid, they have opioid use disorder. So you would talk with them, consult with them, ask them very brief screening. What have they been taking? When's the last time they've used? Do they have, are they ready? Are they ready for a change in their life? And then you facilitate with wherever they are at, whether it's treatment with medication for addiction treatment, such as buprenorphine, or whether it's connecting them to ongoing care or resources. Again, we meet the patients where they're at. We do not tell them what to do. We give them options. The best option, though, is if they're in withdrawal, we can help them with that withdrawal immediately with MAT in the emergency room. And again, that's 24/7. They don't have to wait. They don't have to wait for you to be there. The doctors, along with California Bridge, we train them, we get them X-waivered, and you'll hear more about those words later, but it's a whole process from you to the physicians to the nurses, and we have technical assistance and training for all disciplines. So we're here to help. You are not alone. This is not just upon you. And so here's our agenda, and I'm going to hand it off to Latoya. Again, I am Sherry Cisneros. I'm the director of the Navigator program here at the California Bridge, and I'm always here to help. You'll see my contact information at the end of the slide, but do not hesitate to reach out. I'm going to leave us with the project coordinator, Latoya Mitchell, and she will run through this agenda with you. Go ahead, Latoya.
Hi, everybody. So We went through the welcome part already, thanks to Sherry, our wonderful director. We're going to start with some inspiration today, go into a little bit of the Navigator training that's available. We'll review the Sun landing page and navigation toolkit. We'll also talk about Slack and some additional tools for you, briefly go over the data collection and evaluation, and then we'll wrap up with some Q&A. So in order to start this video, I have to share my sound.
You know, I remember going into talking to this patient, and I said something to the effect of, what do you think your family would feel if you wouldn't make it? He took out his pinky and he said, I pinky swear that I will never do it again, Araceli. And then I said, I'm going to hold you to that. Okay? You're pinky swearing with me, and I take this very seriously. In the Latino community, sometimes if you do something that you're not supposed to do, you get scolded and you get told, you know, you did this, look at that. And so I went back and I told the dad, you know, it's Christmas Eve. This is a gift of life. Don't scold him, hug him, love him, correct him with love. He's turned his life around, you know, he's in school, working, you know, he's connected closer to his family than he's ever been. And so that right there is a miracle for me. And if that's not it, then I don't know what is.
I love that this video is a really great reminder to always be cognizant and incorporate cultural differences when interacting with patients and patient families, and then always discipline and lead with love. It's really beautiful. And here's our next video.
In someone's recovery, it is so important to educate the addict and motivate them to feel like they're a human being and they can do this. That is the most important part. You have to lift that person up. When they come to the emergency room, that is the lowest point of their life. You have to lift that person up. And how are you going to do that? They can feel emotions. I can feel emotions. Everybody can feel emotions. They know when you're coming in there and you're true. And the Suns have that. That's one thing the Suns have. They're doing it for a reason.
I have my own story that I can tell to the patient that that what I've dealt with, that confirms to them, cool, I'm not talking to any other random person that is just here. I'm actually talking to someone that has been through what, you know, that individual has been through. And I think that's huge in this line of work.
You have to be compassionate. You have to walk into that room without any judgment.
And I reiterate to them that, look, dude, I'm not the cops. I'm not here to get you in trouble. I'm literally here because you're here asking for that help.
What matters to me is that you're a human being, and I see you as a human being, and I look at you the same way no matter what you're experiencing in your life.
I'll give somebody 101 chances if they have the respect and they respect us and they really want it.
So again, another inspirational video to remind you that we are all human, to treat each other with love and compassion, and always remember to meet the patient where they are. Next, I'm going to review the Navigator training. This is just going to be a brief overview. So this is the new Navigator, also known as Sun checklist. This checklist is really going to be extremely pivotal for your role as a navigator. We have it outlined the first 2 weeks. So you're going to want to go through this step by step. You have, do you have a workstation put together? Have you reviewed all of the Sun Training 101 series? Have you completed, some of the other training? Have you, do you know who your mentor is, and have you connected with your mentor yet? All of these things are really important to get you started on a really good, strong foundation. And it's especially important that you complete this first 2-week checklist before ever going on a shadow with another Sun or mentor. After that, you have the other section that's 2 weeks and ongoing. So that's when you really start to get a little bit more detailed, branching out within your hospital, putting together your flow for after hours and all of that, and how everything's going to work within your hospital, and then doing outreach and everything. But the most important part of this is really working on that first 2 weeks. Sun Training 101 is a 10 session series that we recorded for you. Sorry that you missed the in-person portion of it, because it was really great. But the good thing is we do have it recorded. It's available to you on our Sun landing page. You would go through and view all 10 sessions, and then each session is available for 1 hour CEU if you fill out the evaluation for it. And then the really great thing about this Sun Training 101 series is it follows along perfectly with the Substance Use Navigation Toolkit. This is the list of all of the sessions with their session number, the title of that session, and the date they were recorded. This is especially important for those CEU certifications. So if you're really wanting to kind of cash in on that 1 hour for watching each of these trainings, then go ahead and fill out the CEU for each one. Make sure that you put the date that you're viewing the training. It will ask you for today's date, and then you'll be asked for the date of the training. So you're going to put that date. For instance, when you watch session 5, you're going to put today's date, and then you're going to enter in June 24th for the date of that training. It's important that you put the correct date so that I can issue you the correct certification. If you put today's date for both portions that it's asking for dates, then it's really impossible for me to know which one you actually watched and which one you're trying to get CEU credit for. If you do not have time right away, which is completely understandable, but if you do not have time right away to watch all 10, because that's 10 hours, that's perfectly fine. You can start off with session 2, which is the one we have highlighted here for you. Session 2 gives you a really good understanding of substance use disorder and the medications used for addiction treatment. And the really great thing is that it's presented to you by Dr. Hannah Snyder, which she is a huge support for the Navigator program and a really great doctor. We do have some virtual Navigator trainings coming up. So we have the Navigator update, which is the second Wednesday of every month. And then we have the Navigator Focus series. The Navigator Focus series does have CEU available as well. So you don't want to miss either of those. The Navigator update is 30 minutes. It's really brief. It's once a month. You get some really good information, and it's more of a conversation instead of a training. And then the Navigator Focus series is actual training. And like I said, you can get CEU credit for that as well. And then we should have some in-person training coming up later this year. We really look forward to that. This is one of our resources. So you can go onto the California Bridge website and access all of these resources, which are really great for any discipline that you have at your hospital. So if you're a nurse, if you have a doctor wanting information, a pharmacist, anybody really in your hospital, or if there's other navigators wanting to learn more, then the California Bridge resource page is definitely the place to go. But the really great thing is for our providers, they have the protocol on here, the quick start guide to be able to start patients right away on medications like buprenorphine in the ED. And so if they're unfamiliar, if they're not sure, don't worry about trying to educate them and really going out of your scope. Just direct them to the website and they can get that information themselves. So we have a Sun welcome page and a Sun landing page, which is really great because it's dedicated to all of us. But when you go to the training tab, I think the tool tab, you'll see navigators. You click on that and it takes you to our welcome page, landing page. And then you click on welcome and it takes you to our welcome page, landing page, where you can have access to all of the trainings, the checklist I mentioned earlier. You have the list of all the navigators, mentors, everything in there that you would possibly need for your role as a Sun. If you have your smartphone handy and available, go ahead and take it out and get a snapshot of this QR code. You can request a hard copy of the Substance Use Navigation Toolkit. Oftentimes this Sun Toolkit is referred to as our Sun Bible. It's, again, everything that you would need for your role. It has racial equity, it has community outreach, it has talking to patients, it has tips on documenting in the chart, it has everything that you would need for your role. It's really a great resource for us. Okay, how do Suns stay in touch? That's a really great question. And the way that we stay in touch is through this communication forum called Slack. If you're unfamiliar with it, you can access it online or you can download the app for it. But it's a place where all of the Suns throughout the state of California can communicate and stay in touch. We use it for sharing resources. We use it for asking questions. We use it for sharing success stories, which is really great. It's a great place to just network and mingle, honestly, virtually with other Suns throughout the state. And a lot of information is shared on there as well, such as upcoming trainings and things like that. We also have a Slack chat time where each of your lovely mentors have devoted a certain half hour to being on Slack so that they can go over case studies with you, answer questions, engage with you in any way that's really helpful. So this is the schedule, and I post the new schedule every month in the Slack channel as well. I briefly mentioned sun shadowing earlier when I talked about the 2-week checklist. So this is what I was talking about. You can submit a request to shadow another Sun or a mentor, and you can submit a request to have a site visit. So the Sun shadow you would typically do in your first couple of weeks to a month of being in your role, where you go and shadow somebody else who has an established program after you've completed that 2-week checklist, of course. And then the site visit you would do after the first couple of months of establishing everything at your hospital. And that's the time that you get to kind of boast about what you've accomplished. So you get to brag, you get to tell us and show us everything that you've done. which is really great, and we love to see it. All right, data collection. Sometimes this can be a little bit scary, but believe me, it's not. Everything that you need to know about data, including the frequently asked questions, all of the links to submit data, everything like that is going to be accessible to you from the Sun Welcome page. You just click on the link that says for data. But any questions you have, go directly to the source, and that's going to be our data team, which you can contact them at data@cabridge.org. There is no hard deadline for data submission each month, but you do definitely want to submit it monthly. But it's not due by, say, the 10th of each month. You have, any time within the month to be able to submit your data. And like I said, all of those deliverables are available on the website as well. So we have a really great partnership with the National Harm Reduction Coalition. It really is fabulous. And you heard our lovely director, Sherry, mention harm reduction, and she said it encompasses a lot, which it really does. There's so many different aspects and parts of harm reduction. So what the National Harm Reduction Coalition did is they made a 3-module training course available to us for free, where you can become a harm reduction specialist. So you basically just, click the link, you go on these modules, you complete them. And after that, you actually do get a certificate of completion. So you become a harm reduction specialist. And it really helps you in your role, because we want to remember to meet patients where they are. And that may not always necessarily mean treatment. That might mean harm reduction modalities. Useful tools for navigators. This is really a critical tool. I believe it is also mentioned in the first 2-week checklist. So this is the hospital education tool. And why this is so important is because, unfortunately, sometimes, people in the community and patients have called the hospitals and unfortunately did not get connected to the navigator or to the ED for treatment. The hospital might have even said, we don't have that here, we don't offer that, you're going to have to call a treatment center. But that's not the case, because since you're hired in your role, that your hospital is now providing this treatment resource for patients. So what you can do is access this hospital education tool on the website, print it out, fill out your information on there, and then hand it out to anyone who answers phones. So if you have an ED operator or tech that answers phones, if you have a main hospital operator that answers phones, you want to get this hospital education tool to all of them. What it does is, when they read this and they get phone calls for those keywords like Suboxone treatment, buprenorphine, MAT treatment, or anything like that, addiction treatment, then they can look at this list and say, hey, this is for my navigator, let me get you over to them. And they have your correct contact information to transfer them to you. So really, really vital tool that every hospital with a navigator needs. X waiver. So this is a term that you're going to hear quite often, but to be honest, not something that you should focus on too much right now. But basically, any information that your providers need on the X waiver will be available on our website. You could even type in X waiver and it'll pop up all of the nifty tools that are available. But there's a great video that was put together that shows the providers how to sign up for an X waiver, what an X waiver is and why it's important. There's the X waiver registration link, a step-by-step video of instructions, And then we do have a really great flyer that you can print out specifically for your clinicians. You can send it to them in email also, but if you print it out, you can post it where your providers or clinicians sit, or even in the treatment areas where they see patients, so that they can, just scan that QR code or type in that link and sign up for their X waiver. It's a really simple process that only takes 8 minutes. But all of that information is available on our website. We have social media accounts as well. So California Bridge is hip with the social media. So California Bridge has Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. One of the really great things about CA Bridge being on Facebook is that our trainings are live streamed on Facebook. So I've been able to share it with my friends, families, and colleagues, and many of them will go on and they just love being able to have this really great information at their fingertips. So just a tip that you can go and follow us on all of these social media platforms, and don't forget to share any of the live streams. We will open up for a portion of questions in just a little bit, where you can ask all of the questions that your heart desires regarding your role as a son. And our navigators will also be sharing questions that are most frequently asked to them and share the answers to those questions. We do ask that you take a moment to fill out the evaluation for this orientation. Although orientation does not provide CEU credit, it is very beneficial to myself and to our program team to get your feedback on how we did with our orientation, and anything that you can suggest to make this experience better for any new coming navigators. Our next training, which is the Navigator Focus Series, schedule is posted here, and you can also scan the QR code to register. Each Navigator Focus Series has a different registration link, so you do have to register each new month. And this is our beloved Son Mentor team. You have Christian, Rebecca, myself, I'm Latoya, Chaya, Tommy, and Wendy, and we have some new additions as well. All of them are available on the website on our Son welcome page. And then you have the contact information for our director, Sherry Cisneros, her email and phone number, and then my contact information as well. We thank you so much for being here with us, and I really hope that a lot of your questions were answered today. If you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or Sherry.
Thank you for attending. And again, I just want to leave with the final 3 things that's most important to this orientation. Number 1, make sure you have your Son Orientation Toolkit that has everything you need to get started. Again, Latoya reminded, it's a Bible. It truly is for a navigator. Everything from A to Z is, and actually there's appendages for patient-facing material, things like that. Number 2 is the Son Training 101. That is the basic training, and although we have tons of other trainings, we really encourage our navigators to start with that training, because that's going to go over things like MAP with buprenorphine. That's going to go over X waiver, what that means. These are terms that may be new to you, so don't worry. Again, everything is in the training, and we go step by step. And the last thing is on this slide, californiabridge.org. You will find everything you need on that website. So thank you so much for listening to us.
And to end everything on a really positive note, just remember that addiction is not a moral failing. It is a chronic disease that requires medical treatment.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Okay. Did I stop recording?
Yes.